Are you in charge of your health? Do you know what it means? To feel empowered, to feel your body is your own, and to feel that you know what's happening inside. Yeah? If not, this episode is for you. And let's the witch lady talk through her story and find out more about what you can do, how you can manage it, and who to ask help for. Now it is time for Speak Up Darling Show. And welcome in this new episode of a Speak Up Darling show. Today we're going to talk about health, how to be in charge of our health. And I'm Vanessa, your host, and I'm here with Florence Pasteur. That she is an incredible lady who has multi hats to manage. And she's an osteopath, an acupuncture, and a sophrologist expert. And I'm going to let her explain a bit why all these different disciplines, just to help you out get in a better health.
Hello, Vanessa. It's lovely meeting you today. Always great a pleasure to have a chat with you because we know each other for now 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years already.
Yes, 5 years already. Time flies.
So fast. Oh yeah, I didn't realize it was just so fast. Yeah, we've been working together for a while for my neck and for my spine, and you always find the solution. So that's really nice to feel someone reliable into this to this kind of different therapy and different practitioner also.
And I love working with you as well for my body. The postpartum phase is so difficult. It's it's priceless to have your help. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm Florence Pasteur. I'm an osteopath, a medical acupuncturist, and a sophrologist. I started my journey over 18 years ago. I qualified as an osteopath after half of my training in France, half in England, and never left since. And this never left was also part of my journey because a few years later, I did this training of sophrology back in France and in Andorra. So it's interesting to see the journey going through different countries, learning from the best of all worlds. And then when I was pregnant, I thought I'd like to add something else. And I found this amazing training of medical acupuncture, which was a wonderful tool to work with, like a great addition to what I was doing in my practice. And later on, because I have a special love of learning, I did also some cupping.
Okay. So, you thought it was the best time when you were pregnant to learn acupuncture? Yeah.
Yes, because I didn't know it was pregnant. I think it's probably that. It was a little bit crazy. I didn't go for the 5 years of traditional Chinese medicine, so I was a little bit wise. But I thought it was amazing because we know actually acupuncture is amazing for pregnancy and post-pregnancy and overall. So I thought, let's do it.
Yeah, that's probably the hormones.
Absolutely. And this journey really goes with the approach of health, because I feel that the idea of my philosophy towards health is that going through the body, because it's our physical reality, it's who we are. We are all an amount of cells. And those cells were in muscles, in bones, in neurons, in organs. It's what we are. And it's quite interesting. So going through osteopathy, how I thought, okay, osteopathy is great because I love this multi-approach, because it's not only adjusting a neck, or working on the guts, or working on the cranium. No, it's all in one, fitting like a tailored approach. So that was great. But the question that triggered my need to do another training was, I feel wonderfully well after I left you, but how can I help myself? And I
Yeah.
thought it was a fantastic, very relevant questions, you know.
Mm.
And I thought, okay, obviously I can't do osteopathy on myself, unfortunately. So I can't teach them osteopathy. It doesn't work.
Mm.
But I experienced sophrology myself when in my teens, and I thought it was such an amazing tool.
Yeah.
Um,
Can
I
you
thought,
explain a bit what is a sophrology? Because it's also linked to breath usually, but it's a bit kind of a cloud that you don't really know. Sophrology, what is that? It's not really. I don't hear much, for example, sophrology specifically in England.
yeah,
Um, I hear more breath work
yeah,
or method of breath work or somatic breath work or
yeah,
stuff like this. But sophrology, I feel that it's a bit kind of um, still hidden a little bit in some
yeah.
ways.
That's absolutely true. It was a discipline which was developed back in the 60s by a neuropsychiatrist, Alfonso Caicedo, and basically was looking for another method other than using the traditional electro waves or strictly medication to help his patients. So he was looking at a more proactive way, and he did his journey through the Eastern practice and the Western understanding about neurosciences. And he developed a structured method based on the breathing, the concentration, the movement, and the sound of the voice.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful tool to connect the body and the mind. It's a beautiful tool to work on the cerebral plasticity. So, as a result, it's a perfect fit with osteopathy
Yeah. So
because
you realign with the osteopathy, you help to reconnect through breath, the brain, and the body movement to keep on going what you've done in osteopathy, if I understood well.
if I can have two sessions and to do, that is exactly the goal. Yeah, you get a certain of awareness of your body through the body work, strictly with osteopathy, but with this apology, you reinforce at a somehow as a more deeper awareness because you are going to work on the cells, you are going to work on your muscles, so and on your own journey. And it's the beauty of sophrology is that you use always a positive filter. So,
Okay.
comparing, I would say, to mindfulness, you when you welcome any sense of awareness in sophrology, you use a positive filter. So when you left, you always feel good.
And how do you practice that? I mean, for example, what kind of exercise or it requires for the person to do it? Is that um, I don't know if you can just give me an example of an exercise for beginners for people who are really starting on sophrology.
Okay, so it's very, I would say, physical versus like the meditative approach, and I think it's what makes the accessibility.
Mm.
Because when you are stressed, you are not connecting to your body. You know, you are just in your mind, or your body is crying, but you are stuck in your mind.
Yeah.
So let's do that. So I offer you to close your eyes, to put your hands on your lap, to put your feet grounded on the floor. You just take 1 second to isolate yourself from the outside world. And you start with an exhalation. Inhale, hold your breath, and just wait for the signals of your body to exhale again. And again, exhale, inhale, Hold your breath, and now you are going to squeeze every single muscles of your body. You frown your face, you tense your shoulders, you make fists, you squeeze your tummy in, you tense your back, you get your bottom cheek down to your toes. And whenever you're ready, exhale and let go. As a few exhalation, keep on cleansing your body and just using the power of your mind to relax your mind, your head, your shoulders down to your toes. And when you are ready, just let come up to your mind something that's the right temperature for your head, for example. You know, if it's like all chaotic and so on, you may want to freshen your head or to balance it with the rest of your body. Just tune with the needs of your head now. And if you don't know, just ask the question and just observe your body. Just observe what's your own needs being fulfilled. When you inhale, you activate, balance, or gentle stream your vitality on your head. And when you exhale, you diffuse to every single part of your head. Just follow your rhythm with no judgment. And when you are ready, you take a last deep breath to activate your capacity of self-confidence, of body-mind alignment, and all your potentials. And you can open your eyes.
I was not expecting the fun. I mean, I really like the fact that you have to kind of tense
Yeah.
when you are already kind of tense, and the fact to even tense, it's a bit like a cramp.
Yeah.
You know, people want always to stretch when they have a cramp, when you shouldn't do. You should contract to help the cramp go faster out, and then once it's come down, you stretch. And it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
That you tense, and then you help out to engage with more positive feeling.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I feel really refreshed in some way. Woof! I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
just like flash techniques, and you know it's the same. And I fully agree with you. The same with the breath. I don't know if you noticed. I
Mm.
always, you know, when we say stress, breathe, and you know, when you're stressed, your breath is so it's not breathe. It's just
Survival. Yeah.
out, and let's feel the air coming in again because it's just a natural flow, and out. But yeah, it's very
Yeah.
just that change everything.
Yeah.
When you know about it, then you will always think about it.
Yeah. It's the practice after that to engage with it a bit more and have it like a emergency toolbox. You can bring that into it, and that's really useful. I mean, it's something that we people really forget. I mean, this is the first thing I work with my clients is breath,
Yeah.
because they squeeze everything and they don't even realize they're squeezed. They squeeze the arms next to the ribs, the fascia around the rib cage is
Yeah.
completely tense, and they are just having shallow breath on the top. But it's amazing that they just don't feel it. I have to tell them it's quite a short breath you have there. And even so, if they can be trained, that they can do cardio and stuff like this, they if they are stressed during their work, or if they have a kind of level of stress that it's up for a long time, it's still short here. and they don't really kind of manage in some way. They are just out of breath by just being stressed. And it's quite amazing to have this kind of technique just a little bit more often, and to be able to practice that, to just turn off the volume of the stress, and to come back to what we want.
Absolutely, because again, it's our body is our vehicle, so we carry it everywhere we go. So it's not only when we work out, but oh, we switch. No, 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 it's not how it works. So there's this little pockets during the day of awareness. It's how we live better.
Yeah, it's really the implementation of also of what you learn in the workouts, I guess, because I've seen many times that people kind of good, confident in the workout, doing
Yeah.
well the technique and the exercise, but outside of it, there is no practice of better posture. There is this kind of expectation that just because you work out, it will come naturally. But the brain doesn't work like this. The brain, if you don't show it and repeat it and kind of, no, it's this way I want to choose, it doesn't really go for it. It will wait maybe some time. It will take ages to come as naturally, but it needs some help usually. But I'm interested how, because you mentioned that the sophrology has this impact also on the brain plasticity, if I'm correct.
Correct.
And how does it kind of, is there any kind of image to explain how it works?
So actually, I go back to the breath.
Yeah.
Because our brain is like a play-doh. We know, for example, that in certain diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, there are certain areas of the brain which are not drained how they are, and therefore there is necrosis, and therefore it's how we get sick. So when we do our breath with sophrology, actually when we hold it, yeah, it's a moment that we wait for the signals of our body, but it's also at this moment that the work is integrated in our mind, in our neurons. Yeah.
Okay.
So more we repeat, like everything else, we create different pathways. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, you go from A to B every day. So after sometimes you go on autopilot. You don't remember if there is like a new shops or is there anything. No, you just go. So by developing some different avenues, and the beauty of sophrology is that you can practice 10 times the same sessions, but you will always experience something different. So when you decide, okay, A to B, but let's go through the C point. Yeah. Oh, that's something new. So, but again, you need to repeat it. Or you can go through the D point, and then you have like this whole library of different options and different collaterals. And it's how you create your network, and it's how you change the cerebral plasticity.
Great. And all in sophrology, you can find this different techniques to improve and to give these different avenues to the brain, if I understood well. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for example, one of the first skill that you develop is concentration, because when you start, and that's why especially the first sessions, I do them extremely physical rather than just spending too much time in your mind in visualization, because we are losing our capacity of concentration. There are studies which show that now we can concentrate 2 minutes less than 20 years ago. I read a study about that recently. But when you start going into your body, when you start to forget about the side world, when you start disconnecting with your mind and going into deeper level of consciousness, when you increase this awareness, then like a 20-minute session looks like it was 2 minutes. and you are not disturbed anymore about anything. So yeah, it's the concentration is very much improved with the practice of sophrology.
That's really nice. That's because obviously it's we're not helped always by the technology in this thing, and knowing that the sophrology comes back to our physical deeper sense of ourselves. It's kind of uh, just that to we are surrounded by technology every time of the day. I mean, I don't even know if we are I guess in parks or in forests or in kind of beaches, and well, beaches I'm not even sure, but I think I guess it's probably the only time, if you don't have your phone on you, when you are without really a point of technology around you that have vibration or frequencies or that your body might not like also. And it's really interesting to know that there is this kind of techniques that bring us back to something much more, I won't say human-like, but much more natural, and that is really connection to us. That you don't get out there to do something, you come back inwards, and you can recreate pathways to feel better and develop that into yourself. And that's it's I think it's really something that should be known more, because we've been kind of not just surrounded by technology, but surrounded by people telling us that you need to have this gadget to know you, to know your health, or to feel better, or have this medicine to feel better. When in fact, if you were already starting by breathing, you will feel better. And developing these different ways of how you can connect to yourself and disconnect your mind a bit, or not completely disconnecting your mind, but aligning your mind to your body, will help so much, I think, to engage more.
Yeah, I believe it's so going back a bit of my approach is this conversation, this flow of conversation between your mind and your body. And it's for me, it's how it is in the practice is that somebody come, we have a chat. So it's like a verbal conversation. And then when I work as an osteopath, it goes through the tissues, the body tissues. And I feel when there's this connection. And so it's with my tools as an osteopath, I will help to reestablish this conversation. And then it's about, how is the mind with the body? Because sometimes the body is stuck in one way and the mind on the other. So, okay, realign them and having this flow of conversation between the mind and the body.
Yeah. And is the client from the patient know when he comes to you, does he know what to expect, or does he just, she's an osteopath, she's going to bring me back on my feet or something?
Well, there is I think I have a little bit of everything. But I have been described like the witch lady recently.
Okay.
We don't know what she does, but it works. Because I listen always in osteopathy session. I always listen with my osteopath ears, and as a sophrologist, I always look as an osteopath eyes. So it's a little bit more rounded than just one dimension only. So or the one who said to me, it was a GP, and she said to me, we never met, we just met 2 days ago, and she said, one of my patients, she said you were the well-being woman, so I just send you patient.
Okay, that's nice.
Although what is interesting, it's the general approach of perceptions of people. But when I work on a spot, even if I listen with my sophrologist ears, I do proper osteopathy or I do proper sophrology. But I guess it's just this conversation which makes the general impression.
Well, I think it's because it's. I mean, I had, for example, different osteopath. I think the first osteopath that I had really liked cracking bones to help to realign. It was the technique at this time, and but you have this approach of realigning by moving gently and having this aware. Yes, it can be painful, but it's still kind of a gentle way to move around and place better all the fibers, all the organs, or whatever it's needs to be moved. And it feels really like sometimes, and I'm agree with your patients. I mean, it feels really sometimes that what is she doing? Explain it to me because I ask you questions. But and I have a different also connection with my body, but it's just really kind of reassuring to have this uh, kindness into your hands. That when you allow your hands onto a body, is there is we can feel there is no kind of pushy way to go for it. It's no authority way of or power way to bring things back. It's just a way of you try first to understand what's happening and to see the hello again and to see what is really going on into that and follow what the body needs to refine his alignment again. And that's I'm a great I think the witch lady is a really perfect word for you. It's really kind of it's really expressing on what you're doing. It's really magic hands to okay, she does that, okay, she does that, except for the acupuncture there. I still remember the pain on this one. When I tell my clients when I want them to see you, I say, well, she can be a bit sneaky, but it works.
But you have discovered my secret, my conversation. I think it's what you are saying. It's about this just being in tune with the conversation, where the patient is, and going back to your gadgets, digital. And I think, when you have somebody in sophrology or even osteopathy, they can come for a back pain, but what was the day before? What was the day? How was if the person had a bad news or a good news? Still the same pain, but in a certain mindset. So it's always embracing the person at the moment, even we've got a goal, there is also this at the time, how is a person? And I think the point of this conversation is very crucial.
Yeah, it gives really a frame also, I guess, of how to approach the problem, because it's not like all one formula of you have to do this, and you follow the protocol. It's first how the body and the person is and how the person fit into the body before kind of opening on okay, what do I do with that? But how I mean, you mentioned that obviously you thought about acupuncture when you were pregnant, but how do you go? Did you try a lot of acupuncture when you were thinking when you were pregnant, or?
I've done some acupuncture, and I found it was very interesting approach. And then I wanted because for me, when I add like another tool in my box, things needs to be coherent. I felt like so the 5 years of Chinese medicine, it was a very different way to think, to diagnose. So for me, the medical acupuncture was exactly the same approach that I have, but just another tool. But what is amazing is that, and also we have some limitations. So sometimes it's really interesting is just to see that patients respond like so fast to acupuncture. I done my osteopathy, but then I put one needles and it's like all the body is aligning and responsive, and you get the vitality, and you're like, well, I should not with that, maybe. And often those patients, when I see that there is a huge response to acupuncture, then I will possibly refer them to traditional medicine acupuncturist.
Okay.
Because even though I've got a lot of tools, we have different sensitivity, and we have got our limits. So I've got a good network of people who I work with and that I can refer to, saying, you know what, try this person, just see how it goes. But I think you will get better faster,
Yeah.
or it could be the best suits for you.
Okay. Okay. So you have all this kind of network of experts
Yeah.
that you can refer to if you feel that, okay, if this one is confident in this technique, you can go further with this person. Okay. What will really make you think that your work won't be enough in this case?
So there is a part of responsiveness to the treatments.
Okay.
And it's mostly based on the vitality that I can perceive. It's how is the feedback of the person after one session, at the second. So how did it progress, and what do I find? So it's always it needs to be, again, coherent. Yeah. So if a patient said, "Yes, I felt good, but it didn't last," for example, and I always find the same clinical finding, I said, "Okay, we can give it another go, but and explore different ways, but there is little response. So in that case, maybe something else is more needed." It depends. Yeah, I think it's really based on the patient's response and clinical findings. Or otherwise, I feel that somebody is really, really down. I don't, maybe I'm a witch, but I don't do magic. And I know that on my own, and that's why I send you patients as well.
Yeah.
It's not enough, just as simply as that. Even if there is a good response, the person needs to have a blood test. The person needs to do personal trainings. The person needs, to have a more global approach.
Mm.
Or if I suspect that there is something, a condition like hormonal condition behind it,
Mm.
I can have the best conversation with the body, but it's yeah, it's not enough, and that's fine.
Well, no, sometimes, especially hormones are tricky also um, to adjust. But I think if the body is already open to treatments, another kind of treatment, it's always helpful to have this. Okay, my body is aligned, but it needs this help, because it's difficult. I mean, to always know when you lack a bit of awareness around your body. I mean, obviously, I work with people who are literally angry with their body, so the communication is not easy. So my job is to calm down this anger and to shift it into something more reliable and into trust. But more you can know your body and feel. I mean, that's what I felt in acupuncture, for example, where you press one thing with the needle and or you turn at different level, and I can feel it in my toes, or I can feel it in my legs. I can see the connection. And in this, if you don't feel also things, if you're not open to feel what's going on when you are in pain first, and when you are in treatment, like into your hands, I think it's difficult just to respond to it. Because
Absolutely.
whatever the therapy, any case, if you don't believe into it, well, it doesn't work. If it won't last also.
It's the same in your practice. You know, what I love working out with you is just we start with the presence, you know, the awareness of the body, this acknowledgement of where we are today at this moment. And that's why, and after the engagement, it's very much in tune as well with your way to of your workouts. There's a great resonance, you know, and that's why I never had any pain after your workout.
No need. No need to add pain. I don't feel that. No, I don't feel it's needed. It's just a way to move differently. And one thing that's kind of transpire from your work, it's your work through the fascia. That I think this kind of myth that I heard by some doctors is still a reality, but it's still kind of a notion a bit controversial by some doctors, saying that no, the fascia doesn't exist. And when you know, I mean, when you know some muscles, the only way for muscles to talk to each other from the chest to the hips, you know, it's through fascia. It's not, hey, how is it down there? And go for it. So can you explain a bit about what is the fascia and how it works, the fascias?
Yeah. So I have these questions when patients engage, and what are you doing? Where are you working? Because then people become curious, which is great. You know, it's like just like do whatever with me. It's just like, okay, what is that? And actually cupping is a great way to work on fascia. Basically, I explain the fascia is like the thin white envelope that you have around a chicken breast. Yeah, it's an envelope surrounding most of the every muscles of your body and some other organs as well. And they are called connective tissue. So connective, connection, tissue. So connecting all the tissue with themselves. So you imagine it's like a mega envelope from head to toes. So that's why as well, when you have a perception of, you know, I would put a needle in one in one muscles, and then you feel it down in your body as well. It's also through the fascia. And imagine you have your duvet, you know, so you've got the cover and the duvet. So the duvet itself, it's a chicken breast, and the cover is a fascia. So if you have a C-section, for example, yeah, so you are going to take the baby out of your duvet, you are going to cut the fascia. It's one of the layers of your body. So if it's not well done, or if for some reason it creates some adherences, therefore your duvet, when you will move it away, it will be stuck. It won't be flowing. So it's one of the things about the fascia which is very important, like any kind of surgery can affect the fascia.
Yeah.
The second thing about the fascia is that this connective tissue underneath, around, there is lots of fluids. And it's where you get the vitality of the body. So, for example, a patient who is extremely tired, I won't try to crack the back. I won't try to do like cranial work. I will just use my cupping just to flow, to get this vitality back, because the body was not responding, the body is tired and the vitality is low. And the fascia are an amazing way to give a good boost of the vitality of the body.
Right.
Cupping is a great way. We also have some techniques of unwinding. So it's quite interesting because you just move the tissue, the body, and you feel your body is moving. It's not even controlling. So that is quite an interesting way as well. I'm thinking so much about the tennis players, for example, tennis elbow. Ooh, the forearm is extremely tight, the wrist is blocked, like nothing moves. Yeah. So, and we said, I don't get better. Yeah, I've got this elbow pain. I don't get better. The next step is surgery. And you're like, okay, let's let's work a little bit of the fascia, and then it makes just magic. You just unwind the fascia, and then they're like, wow, it's free, it moves, it's.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a tissue that is underrated in the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it was ignored for so long
Yeah,
because when they started, I think, anatomy studies in 19th century or something, because they
yeah,
cutted bodies,
mm,
they didn't really care about this layer
yeah,
to find out about the muscles. They just cut it, and obviously they couldn't have seen the opportunity of what the fascia could have done at this point. But they let it there on this kind of study for so long. For me, I find that okay, you cut something, but you had also live bodies to study on, and
exactly,
how to
absolutely.
you've developed so much surgery. You can also develop much also your knowledge about how the body is maintaining to yourself, because technically if you don't have the fascia, I mean, where your muscles can just stick together,
Yeah,
you can't move forward. You have this kind of different fascia that is specific also to the part of the frontal, the backbone, and it's important to see that into your movements and into your, and as you said, it bears the vitality of your body. So I think it's really crucial to understand that when you want to get better health. uh, it's uh, it's where it's usually the missing piece I see in my clients, and in most of trainings there is no enough preparation into how you can bring the fascia into your trainings. Like for example, the foam rolling, it's a really good one to work with, but I see people doing that after the workout.
yeah,
And if you start with the foam rolling, that's much better, because you have the vitality of the fascia coming out into your training, instead
yeah,
of draining it even more and giving this kind of fake relief afterwards. But if you
yeah.
start with it, you don't bring as much as toxins also into from your
Mhm.
training to the body. So it's just to that's why I like working with you into this kind of perception of how the body works, because um, I mean, I know that there is no much practitioner talking also much about the fascia. It's something still a bit, is that really existing? And when you have your hands onto that and you can feel this connection, it's I think your job is really precious, and your the service you do for clients. I mean, it's unbelievable working well and lasting when you're open to see, and when you're open to learn how to get better on your feet. Because obviously, if you just come back to what you were doing before, or how stressed you were before, uh, I don't think there is a point to to get onto that.
And it's really funny that you are using getting back on your feet, because I think the most well-known fascia is the plantar fascia, the fascia of your feet. And it's just a very strong limitation, because the fascia is head to toe. So we go back to our very first point about the holistic, the integrative approach from the whole body. And, it's even in sophrology, sometimes I let people just put their hands on their head and just massaging the scalp, and you can feel as well this gliding movement. There's a scalp, but there is a fascia underneath, and it's quite amazing to feel to feel this gliding movement. It's quite interesting, and people say, "Oh, what are you feeling?" Because it's not a sensation that I'm used to. Yes, I'm working on the fascia. Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah, exactly. When you make there is like obviously with acupuncture you have this specific pressure point here on the head that's, when done really well, because sometimes it can be tricky, but when done really well, you can feel the relaxation into, or the effect into your arms and into your legs again. And it's just, you press this button and poof,
Yeah.
it relaxes. I mean, that's kind of, come on, your body can do that just by pressing just one button or just a little combination. I mean, it's not, it's incredible. I mean, you have that already integrated into your body, but we don't activate it enough, or we don't know just enough about it yet. So
Yeah, I think it's this awareness that we need to, and as you said, it's not only when you work out, or it's not only when you come to the osteopath.
yeah,
It's this little moment. It's when I interact with people. You know, how is my posture? How is my balance? How is my breath?
yeah,
What are the signals in my body? So it's this nice conversation with our tissues, you know, and beyond critics, you know, beyond judgments. It's just, okay, I'm here. How is my body? How comfortable am I? You know, it's
yeah.
how is my energy level? You know, do I need to drink another coffee or tea to just, or is it like, okay,
Mm.
just take a few breaths and put your intention of getting back to your vitality and yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot to know, but it's just that when you want to be in charge of your own body and own health, it's just this understand that is my physical basic
Mm.
needs are maintained or meet or just met, because sometimes it's usually not the case. If you feel overstressed or if you feel any back pain or any kind of pain in general, it's because some basic needs haven't been met for a while, not just once or twice, but
Mm.
a while. It's been ignored. So if you just come back to how is my sleep, how do I drink enough water, do I drink more coffees or teas, or even kind of soda drinks or stuff like this, is just to know what do I put in my mouth, is that enough nutritious for me at this point. uh, but I think and I guess that the main thing is sometimes we don't go into this because we judge it easily on us. We want just, oh no, you ate that, oh but that's not healthy or whatever. Well, in fact, it's not just about that. It's just, okay, I ate that, but did I drink enough water around it? If it was kind of really salty, it's just to know where is your physical basic needs, are they met, and then you can expand on that. Because going to the doctor when you're not well, well, right now it's a bit difficult with all the strikes, but even so, if you don't have a proper kind of bringing knowledge into to the doctor, it won't be able to help you efficiently. You will have to do running tests for whatever reason, but not having the right you can go faster by knowing what's going on into your body. And then it's like talking to you, for example. If I come to you and I say, well, I'm just not well, you will have to spend more time to examine and test, and that's opening to another conversation. But when you bring a bit more, when the patient is even, okay, I'm feeling like this, you give more already. You're halfway. Okay, I'm already doing my part. Now she just have to do her part
Yeah,
to that.
true, and it's the same as you in your job, is that more you train this awareness, this education, and then you know eventually people come not only when they're in pain, but just
Yeah,
as a check, you know, because they know that their baseline, they are aware about their baseline and how they can improve it. And I think it's where you feel, oh, thanks goodness. It's amazing.
yeah,
So it's really much this education, this awareness, and the non-judgment.
yeah.
Um,
I think there's a non-judgment that is the kind of part that is a bit difficult to to step out or step over, or just not do.
yeah.
We tend so much to judge on it, that or what we're not doing,
Mm.
that we forgot why we're not doing it, and that is usually the real kind of problem of I'm not drinking or eating or whatever that I need because there is something else bothering me. So
Yeah.
it's just a revelation to that. And I think, I mean, talking to practitioner like you who kind of push into the conversation, but not into the hands, onto the healing, it's really precious. I mean, it's something that I wish there were more like you, because I have to say it's always a bit difficult to have someone that's really fully embrace the person as it is, and not just, okay, you have this symptom, this is the plan for this symptom or this spike of symptoms. It's no, there is something around it that linked, and usually they miss the link. But obviously, if the patient is not open yet to a full healing, the response to the treatment won't be as efficient as what you know could be. Also,
But it's also being, there are as many practitioners as people. There are people for everyone.
yeah,
And I really feel that, so when, for example, I refer you patients, they are ready.
yeah,
And I think it's just yeah, everybody has their own journey and at their own rhythm.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
by doing this talk, and it's a great way to diffuse this information, and then to let people to think, yes, I'd never thought about this way, and so on. So I think it's a great awareness we are
yeah,
developing. And, yeah.
yeah. So that was our talk on how to be in charge of our health with Florence Pasteur, that you can find in London. And where can we reach you? Which platform is it the best to see your work, or contact you directly?
So the best way is to go through my website, www.florencepasteur.co.uk. You have lots of, you can book online, you have some information over there, and otherwise you just drop me a line at contact@florencepasteur.co.uk, and I'll get back to you.
Yes, go see the witch lady. You will never be the same. It was Speak Up Darling Shows. Thank you so much for coming and to spare this time with us. And I wish you the best. Until next time. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.